guys, and welcome to another episode of Dem Guys podcast. Today on the podcast, we have, as usual, myself, Drew.
Me, Slash.
And me, Snowshoe.
Woo!
And no guest.
No guest.
Yeah, no guest this week.
We are super slow at talking to people.
What episode is this? This is 7, right? Is that right?
This is episode 8.
8,
This is episode 8. Yes.
So we have a 25% guest ratio. Percentage?
Yeah, ratio sounds good.
Whatever. Yeah, 25%, guys. We need to increase that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not too shabby.
I guess. Hey, before we get into this, I wanted to tell you guys a story. It's a very short story.
It's about a lovely lady, and she had 3 girls, and yeah.
No, I've never heard that story, nor do I
The Brady
care.
Bunch.
Oh, there's a story
Oh,
of a
wow.
lovely lady. I'm gonna get copyright infringement for this song. So I have a story. 2 days ago, somebody brought me some cookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
for 22 years, I had lived my life without knowing what the taste of a macaroon was. And it was revolutionary. I have like 50 macaroons, and they're so good. How did I not know about macaroons before?
Can you send some to me? Because I've never had them.
Well, there's probably a Whole Foods closer to you where you can buy them, but they might be a little stale by the time they get there. Because I'm sure as heck not paying for rush delivery.
Hey, I've got a macaroon fact for you. Ready?
Hit it.
Do you know how many macaroons Adam Levine would put in a box?
5.
Macaroon 5. Yes.
God, that was awful. Did you Google that, or is that just off the
I just made that up right now.
Oh, wow. It sounded like it, to be honest.
You can direct, dear listener, your complaints about the poor quality of that joke, along with any questions you may have for us, to the Dem Guys podcast email address.
Do I do this now?
You will in a moment when
Okay.
I say Dem Guys podcast.
DemGuyspodcast@gmail.com.
GMAL.
The I didn't come out correctly, but I assume you guys know how to spell Gmail.
The I got stuck on the way
It
out.
did. It hung up between the A and the L.
All right, well, that's enough silliness. Let's get into the games. Drew, you have 23 seconds. Go.
Okay, so
3,
this week I played
4.
Minecraft, and I got pranked, and there's a new video that's going to be coming out on my channel and Slash's channel on, it came out on Tuesday.
10
so
seconds.
Make sure to watch that. And then I recorded the final episode of this season of AlphyCraft because we're resetting the map. And then I played Smite, and then I played Assassin's Creed 4, and then I played Fallout 3, and they were all really fun.
That's good.
Well done.
I like those last
Impressive.
3. I had a question though. Why are you guys resetting AlphyCraft for 1.8?
Well, we decided because 1.8 is coming out. It's supposed to be
Impending.
coming out in May, and we don't want to wait that long. We're gonna reset the map and just sort of limit how far we go.
Yeah, and I mean,
But-
the thing is, luckily in 1.8, there's not going to be any new terrain generation that's not on the snapshots. Almost guaranteed, because it's pretty much too late for them to do new terrain generation for 1.8.
Yeah.
We're not doing snapshots. As far as I
you're
know,
not.
it's just right. It's just but we're gonna limit how far we go to keep the new ores.
Yeah,
or
the new
blocks
stones.
or whatever pretty easily
Adenite and
accessible.
all that stuff or whatever.
Interesting.
No one has really been active on the server at all for like months, including myself, because I just didn't know what to do because there was no one else on and no one to interact with and whatever, and a lot of other people felt the same way. So basically we're resetting the server and we're implementing some new things to try and get people active again, and we're also gonna be inviting some people. I'm not entirely sure what form that's going to take. I think at first we're just going to kind of do an like a you can invite a friend thing, but we may be doing contests later on.
Interesting.
But yeah, really it's to try and breathe life back into the server a little bit. So
Well, so promote it. It's the Alphonia fan server, correct? And Alphonia is a ex-member of the Mindcrack fan server.
yes.
So it's like a fan serverception type deal.
Yeah, we've kind of collectively agreed, like the members and Alphonia, Alfie really is too busy to play on the server, and she doesn't even really produce content a whole lot because she's really busy with school.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's still in like our group chat, and it's more of just she's one of us though now, then it's not so much her fan server. Like, we don't have to check with her anymore about changes we make. We just go by the server admin. And so she actually told us you can go ahead and change the name, but to us it's like we are the AlphyCraft server. Like,
yeah, right. See, I think
what else are we gonna call it?
You guys said you're gonna have some new changes on the new server. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you already say those? Did I miss that part?
No, I did not. So the main one that comes to mind right now, I don't remember what all the details were, but the main one that comes to mind is that we are going to have basically command block at spawn where if someone basically doesn't, like, if they just want to get on and build massive bases or whatever, there's actually a way they can just switch over to creative mode.
Interesting.
But there are going to be severe limits on the creative mode. You're not allowed to use it to prank. You're not allowed to use it to just, like, gather a whole bunch of resources and do PvP, whatever. All it's allowed to be used for is building a base. Just if you want to be a builder, but still be on a server where other people can come see it and whatever.
And I think this kind of addresses, I mean, I don't know if it's the perfect solution, but it's at least a solution to kind of the problem that Minecraft is facing right now. Like, there's a general disinterest level in it. Minecraft has peaks and valleys, but it seems like the peaks aren't as high and the valleys are getting lower.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I still love survival and I get bored too easily with creative. To me, there's no challenge. So I'm probably going to be one of the people that is not going to utilize creative at all. The only reason I can imagine myself doing that is for, like, filming an intro, for my videos. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on with AlphyCraft. So you were asking me about Smite. I am not qualified to talk about the Smite launch.
You didn't watch any of it?
I was working the entire time. And then when I got home from work, I was just too tired to do anything. So I don't know anything about what happened.
See,
I saw some pictures on Twitter of, like, fans with some of the high-res people, and that was it.
I was going to ask you because I tried to watch, like, the tournament and everything because one of my friends is a really big Team Solomid fan from League of Legends, and I didn't realize they had a team going for Smite, and they actually won the whole thing. But I was trying to watch the matches, and I couldn't figure out where to watch them. It wasn't on GameVid Expo Twitch.
Smite
I don't know
Game.
if they were Smite Game? Was it really on Smite Game?
Yeah.
Crap. Oh well. Maybe I'll watch him later. But I was really interested for a little while, and I thought about messaging you, but you weren't online.
Yeah.
You're my Smite dude. And you didn't even watch it, man. I watched more Smite than you did this weekend.
Yeah, well, I rarely actually watch streams of Smite gameplay. I enjoy playing the game, and then I also I really enjoy watching, they do a thing called the Community Art Show, where they talk about the art for the game, and they show fan art, and
I saw you got a new Poseidon t-shirt.
Yes, I will be wearing that to PAX.
Ooh, all the time?
No, just one of the days. I actually have a Dem Guys podcast t-shirt and a Drusen of the 43 t-shirt as well. So.
Oh, is it 3 days long?
The convention is 3 days, and then we're also getting there we're getting there a day early, so I'm not sure.
You're not sure what you're going to wear that 4th day? Yeah, you're going to have to figure that out, because you've got some issues.
Yeah, I have to decide which one I want to actually wear to the convention.
Right, you can't wear novelty t-shirts 3 out of the 4 days. If you're going to do it, it's got to be 4 out of 4.
Well, no, I said I also have a Minecraft shirt. I just have to decide which one will be not at the actual convention.
Gotcha. So we went through all your games. Record time.
Yeah, I just wanted to say...
Oh, I was so close.
I wasn't going to, but because you asked me about Smite, I'm going to say the one thing I wanted to mention for that was I was talking about I was racing to get level 30 in Smite before it was too late and I wouldn't get, like, the bonus stuff for beating it before the beta was over. And I managed to do it at 4 a.m., 3 hours before...
How long had you been playing at that point?
14 hours.
Jeez.
16 hours, something like that.
Somebody died from that once, didn't they?
That was like from the time I had started to the time I had ended. I took like some breaks to eat and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Did you at least like look away from the screen every 20 minutes? You did not, did you?
Clearly not.
I mean,
oh my gosh.
A game can last longer than 20 minutes.
Oh, whatever. Your eyes are gonna fall out of your head, and you're gonna say, "Oh, Snowshoe told me about the eye thing, and I didn't listen." Anyway.
Okay, so that's all my game stuff.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess I'll talk about my games now. I've also been playing Minecraft. I was on the VBFS. Now that we're on the 1.8 snapshots, I had this idea to have a King of the Ladder build that's inspired by Kurtz from the Missile Silo last season of Minecraft, in that you have to jump from ladder to ladder. But I wanted to incorporate the new slime blocks for it so that when you fall off, instead of necessarily falling to your death, you bounce back up and you might be able to, get a bit of a head start getting back up the ladder.
I'm gonna have to check out this video, but is there is it all slime blocks at the bottom?
What I did was I portioned out an area that's 16 blocks in radius.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working still on filling that up with slime blocks. If dear listener, if you are a member of the Vintage Beef fan server and you have slime that you're willing to donate to me for this community project,
please call.
I will happily take it. There's a chest right next to the build in the mini games area past the beef statue.
Okay, your infomercial time is running out.
That was it.
Okay,
finished.
Great. You only have paid programming
takes
for 5 seconds.
Yeah, it takes a lot of... It's funny because, you look at... Baker let me have an entire double chest of slime balls, right?
Yeah, I know she has
and the slime balls stacked to 64, but then when you combine them at 9 at a time to make blocks, all of a sudden the double chest isn't a whole lot.
Yeah, you've only got 7 blocks per stack. So.
Yeah, so it's not just going to be at the bottom, though. My idea is that I want to have the little... At the top of each of these little ladder segments, I want to have little platforms that are also not snow blocks, but slime blocks that are snowshoe. That are slime blocks, so that if you fall off one of the higher tier ones, you can try to aim for one of those platforms. But the higher up you go, the smaller those platforms get at the top of the ladders. So it's hard to explain. I get it. I think once you see the build, you'll understand what I'm going for.
Yeah, it makes sense. See, I was wondering if you were gonna do like a couple of pieces of stone on the bottom, so that you have to at least pay attention where you're landing, or else you may hit like a stone and then die.
Yeah, because slime blocks don't prevent mob spawns, there are redstone lamps mixed in among the slime blocks at the bottom platform. So there is that danger that you might hit and in my testing, it seems like if you hit a slime block in the wrong way, you can still take the fall damage and not bounce it back up.
Yeah, it's kind of a little glitchy if you hit it on the edges, I think.
Yeah. So there's that. I recently started playing Attack of the B-Team.
Woo!
Friend of mine set up a little server for just friends of the family kind of thing. So I've started getting into there, and I don't have any videos out yet. I'm hoping tomorrow there will be a video on my channel, the intro video for that series.
Can you spoil it at all? Or do you have any plans?
I do have plans. I definitely want to get into the HitBox stuff, but I don't know. And they have, I guess, HitBox Mars is part of the pack as well.
Yep.
So I probably want to try to eventually do that. But
it's rough, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I've seen your vids on it.
Oh my gosh. I haven't even put out a video on it in a while. I got stuck on the moon again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't be on a video. I was just trying to get back. I was like on the moon, and I was doing fine, and then the worst thing about the what's it called? The Mooncraft, it's not Galacticraft mod is that when you get in the spaceship, it puts you in F5 mode so you can see yourself, right? But when you get out of the spaceship, it doesn't take you out of F5 mode. So it's really disorienting when you get out of the spaceship that you're just you don't really understand what's going on until you're like, oh crap, I'm in F5 mode again. Well, it was nighttime on the moon, which you want to avoid. I promise. Don't. The moon at night is like the worst thing. So there's tons of mobs, and night on the moon is 8 times longer than night on Earth.
Right.
And all these guys were trying to kill me, so I decided to try to launch my rocket to go back home inside of a little cave and have like a tiny little window to open it up. Well, a creeper fell through my window and tried to blow me up, but it blew up my spaceship and all of my oxygen devices, and I was in F5 mode, so I couldn't run to pick them up fast enough. But they all like fell off my body.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's a little derpy, but it's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, my main use of GalactiCraft, I'll end up at the moon at some point, but I think what I want to try to actually do is make my base a space station instead of having it down in the regular area.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. The only thing, and the other thing is that if you can go to Mars, that'll be really cool. I don't think anybody on our server has made it to Mars yet because of, I mean, you need a ton of meteoric iron, which is like fairly rare on the moon, but
right, and that's the only place you can get it. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something because I kind of want to have this space station. I want to build it in a modular way so I can have like, okay, here's it like almost like I had to construct it by launching modules like they did with the ISS.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, so it's like when you create a space station, it creates like the core.
Yep.
And then I want to build off of that and have like, okay, here's the Thaumcraft, or not Thaumcraft because that's not in it, but here's like the Tinker's Construct module. And here's like, you know, my thermal expansion module, and here's my,
cool.
you know, and go off like that. So I don't have it all planned out, and I haven't figured out, because what I want to do in creative, on a super flat creative world, I want to work out the design of each of those rooms so that I know what their footprint is, and then then figure out how to attach them all so that I can navigate my way around the station.
That'd be really cool.
So that's my plan there. You know, just barely getting started with it. I'm far enough along where I'm able to start recording. But you know, it's going to be a while before I'm able to realize these plans.
I think you're really gonna like that. That seems like a mod you would really like. Mod pack.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's you know, a bunch of folks I don't normally get to play Minecraft with, so should be good. And then I got back into Starbound recently. I hadn't played for quite a while.
Man, is that game still going on?
It's still going on, yeah.
All of the hype completely died around that.
It really did. I think development slowed down. They weren't releasing updates as fast as they had been.
And even when they were releasing updates, I think a big factor was whenever it was wiping the characters.
That killed a lot of interest. But I mean, they fixed that. They don't have to wipe characters anymore.
Right.
You know, so if you were starting out fresh now, you probably wouldn't run into that. The problem was all the early adopters kind of got burnt on it. It was like, you know what? I'll wait till it's stable and then maybe I'll come back to it.
It's almost too late.
I had an episode go out on Friday. I think it was on Friday, where I tried to fight the Bone Dragon boss, which I think is the 3rd level boss of the game, and that did not go well.
It kind of seems like how those bosses always go in Starbound. Like, you're either way overpowered for them, or you have to spend your entire time in a cave or something trying to shoot them once. Yeah,
exactly. And it didn't help that I was going back into it from nothing. You know, I was going back into it rusty, so it was I wasn't playing the game as well as I should have anyway. So I ended up losing to him, and I had to recollect the resources to remake the Decoy Princess to try again. So that's I'm up to that point. I haven't recorded again since then, but I have off camera regained the resources that I needed. So hope to get back into that again real soon.
That sounds rough.
Kerbal Space Program, I'm doing some preparations. I want to try to get a manned mission to Duna. So far, I've only gotten a probe there, so a manned mission to Duna is next on the list.
Did you ever see that video I mentioned last time with Kurt?
You took the pinpoint landing?
Yeah.
And from the live stream? No, it's in my list, but as I mentioned before, I'm pretty far behind. I think I've got like 60 videos to watch.
It's like a 5-minute video. I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
I guess if you're going to watch it, I don't want to spoil it, but it was really cool.
I saw the thumbnail from the video. How close
I guess you probably
was
could tell
landing,
more from the thumbnail than I could.
But yeah, it looks very cool, and I do look forward to seeing that. So, and I recently, I'll give a shout out to nihontiger because he just recently put on a KSP episode where he had one of the space planes. He made a very basic jet plane, not trying to get to space, but just for getting around over the surface of Kerbin. And he had a very cool design on it where you could essentially just jettison the nose cone. And he had standard spaceship style landing legs on the nose cone. So you shot the nose cone off the ship and then deployed the parachute and it swung around and landed on its leg.
On its nose?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. On the back end of it. So the nose was pointing straight up. And he designed it that way so that he could do more pinpoint landings on certain biomes for the science. That you could just fly over it, and he's like, okay, I'm over the desert now. Eject and buy rest of ship. Which was a technique I had not seen before, so kudos to him on that one.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I think I mentioned last time that I had recorded a couple episodes of A Battle for West Noth campaign that I ended up having to scrap. So I'm hoping to get back into those. I wasn't getting any game sounds, unfortunately. The updated software on my computer is giving me a bit of a problem sometimes when I record. So
I'm really excited to see your new series and see if you survive your hardcore mode.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a lot harder of a campaign than the last one was. The first scenario doesn't seem too bad, but that's...
You said it's like 24, right?
Yeah, I think it's 20, yeah. My experience with these types of games is that the difficulty curve seems to go up fairly steeply. You know, first couple of levels you might be able to do pretty well, and then it's like the designers of the campaign went, okay, he gets it now, and then the next one is like, you know, you're fighting a battle on 5 fronts, and you have, you know, you start out with a village and 1 guy, and you have to build up from there. You know, it seems like the learning or the difficulty curve tends to be skewed. Yeah, from my perspective,
like from kindergarten to first grade.
Kind of along those lines. Yeah,
kindergarten's
like, wait, a whole day now?
Your parents dropped you off here, and now we don't know what to do with you, so here, color some stuff. And then first grade, it's like, hey, learn something. And you're like, oh, whoa. That's not what I'm used to, guys.
Yeah.
Can I restart?
Yeah. So that's coming up too, and now I've actually got this week, I have more opportunity to record, so I'm hoping to try and get a little bit of a backlog on some of the stuff that isn't, you know, my VBFS I tend to record and then release pretty quickly because I tend to talk about more time sensitive stuff in there. But the other videos like Starbound, Kerbal Space Program, you know, and this Battle for West North, I'm hoping to get some bulk recording of that done and hopefully make up for
lost
make
time.
up for the lower amount of videos due to baby.
Yeah.
Man, I can't even blame my lower amount of videos on a baby. Actually, I can't blame it on my cat because, as you guys have possibly heard in the podcast, I don't know how well we've done at disguising it, but she's like, I think it must be the change in seasons or something, because she will not stop meowing. It's like similar to a baby.
That's it for my game, Snowshoe. What have you been playing or not playing, as the case might be lately?
Okay, so VBFS, right? I always play that. I've played a little bit. I've actually started working on a couple projects that I'm kind of trying to head in a new direction with my series. Not really, I don't know how best to describe it, but I'd like to do kind of some more like bigger projects and have some more updates, more progress made every episode, basically. Mm-hmm. And if that means releasing episodes less frequently, and that's okay. I've gotten to the point where I am enjoying my channel more and not really focused on the viewers as much, which is kind of sad. But
no, that's a good thing. Like, you shouldn't just totally ignore your viewers, but you shouldn't feel like you have to work. It should be a fun experience. And
right.
It's a tricky balance.
Yeah, it is. And it's still one, I mean, you guys, I think when did you start?
I started, like December 2012 or January 2013.
Yeah, so you've been going about 6 months longer, probably 4 or 5 months longer than I was, but it's still something that you figure out. It kind of is on and off and on, like when you want to record, when you don't. I don't know. It's still a tricky balance, and I'm learning a lot about it. But anyway, I want to try doing what I'm doing right now. And aside from that, I'm playing a new game called Ether 1. Have you guys... I know Slash has watched at least part of the first episode.
I also watched part of the first episode.
Man,
I've got the first 2 from you.
You watched the second episode?
Yep.
Holy cow, the second episode is so good.
It is. It's that game is a mind trip.
It is really good. And I played the third episode already. I think it'll be up yesterday for you guys. And the fourth episode should be coming. So that should be a fairly regular series. The Last of Us, though, for whatever reason, every time I try to record that series, something happens. Like, I've been not just interrupted by my cat, as you might be able to hear right now, but I've been interrupted by, like, screaming children outside my window. When does that happen? It's happened twice out of the 4 times I've tried to record The Last of Us. The other time I got a phone call that was for an hour. Anyway, I don't have any Last of Us videos up, but...
That's rough.
But back to Ether 1. So you guys kind of understand the premise of the game if you watched it, but for the viewers who probably have not seen my series, or for that matter, any other series, because it's really not being LP'd very much right now, which is pretty sad. It's kind of a deep puzzler game, has a lot of really challenging puzzles in it, and it kind of has a deeper meaning having to do with dementia. So it's almost like, I keep wanting to compare it to Inception, but it's, what was it? It's kind of like Memento, Inception, I don't know. Basically, you're going inside these people's memories and trying to reconstruct them by reliving them and realizing what's made these people's memories so vivid. and basically reconstructing them so that it can overtake their dementia. And you're finding out more and more about some secrets as you go on. And I don't know, I'm a huge puzzle person, as you guys know, and the puzzles in that game are really awesome.
The way it came across to me was like, if you took the concept from Psychonauts, which is a very cartoony game addressed with like delving into people's minds.
Right.
If you took that concept and you were like, what if you actually did this in real life, and put the serious spin on it, like this is how it would go if you actually could do this with real people, with real scenarios, real emotions.
Yeah.
And it gets deep as a result. So
man, that second episode, I wasn't ready for it. Like the first episode was kind of like Portal-y in the fact that, hey, you've got this talking voice, this person that you don't know that's talking to you, telling you to do a bunch of random stuff, and oh wow, we did some weird things. Okay, that's the end of the first episode. Second episode was like, okay, let's do some more. Oh my god! And I was not ready for it. I played it at 11:30 at night, is when I recorded it, and I was home alone, and the lights were off and everything. I got like more scared than I've gotten in a while from a video game. I wasn't expecting the reaction.
It intensified fast at the end of that second episode.
That escalated quickly. But and one other thing is that it's actually out for the Oculus Rift, which kind of goes into a story that we'll talk about a little bit later. But that would be very interesting to me to see how well that went hand in hand.
Yeah, I bet that game would work well with the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The graphics are really, really cool. It almost feels like you're playing it on the Oculus Rift, with the way I guess just the way the camera is. It's kind of different from a lot of games.
Yeah, just the way it draws you in and stuff.
Yeah, it's very immersive.
Actually, let's go ahead and talk about the Oculus Rift while we're
big news
on the topic.
Big, scary, terrible news.
For reasons as yet indeterminate to the vast majority of the community.
This is under the W for WTF files.
Yeah. Facebook purchased Oculus Rift. I guess they purchased Oculus, like the
Oculus
company
VR
that makes the Oculus Rift.
Right, virtual reality.
And leading everybody to kind of go, why? Like, what could VR possibly bring to like Farmville?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They want it for Farmville.
That would be awesome.
It seems very strange for a social networking site to acquire a virtual reality making company.
A lot of people say it has some potential, but like honestly, I can't see myself ever wanting to do VR socially.
Yeah,
there's a reason I don't live with my parents.
Right.
It's because I don't want to live with my parents. I don't want to be, I don't know. I guess it has some potential, but I don't know.
Well, isn't the whole point of virtual reality that you're getting away from reality? And so it's like, why would you want to go into that social...
Yeah.
Right.
You're trying to get away from the people you know.
And I mean, not to mention, honestly, how many people are going to have an Oculus in 5-10 years?
Yeah.
10 years maybe. I don't think 5 years. I think it's going to be very little. Even though it's come so far in 2 years, but...
In 10 years, I'll probably have like an Xbox One or a PS4.
That's true. And be buying PS3 games to try to play on it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very, very strange. And the reaction from the internet was just insane. Apparently, like the Oculus CEO or whatever, like received death threats over this.
Gosh.
I was reading in one article. So, I mean, that's just people take it to the extreme when they disagree with stuff.
Well, so Notch backed Oculus on Kickstarter whenever it very first came out. I think it was 2 years ago.
Right.
Maybe a little bit less than that. And he backed it for $10,000, which to Notch isn't that much, but it's comparable to a lot of money for us probably.
Right.
And I mean, you guys have seen his tweets. He's basically said, no, we're not doing Minecraft with Facebook. It's not happening. So Minecraft is completely pulled out of the Oculus network, I guess.
Yeah, because they had been doing so. They were in talks with them to be like, yeah, we would love to, incorporate the ability to use this VR equipment to play Minecraft. Cause,
right, and Notch has a really good blog post, which did you guys read that at all?
I read a little bit. I think I skimmed it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. But where he's talking about, I went to go visit these guys at Oculus like a week ago, and then all of a sudden they're owned by Facebook. So I think he was pretty repulsed by everything, but it was a very interesting reaction by him and obviously the rest of the internet.
Yeah, it feels very much to me like Facebook came to them with a large sum of money, and they were like, to heck with this, awesome project that we're working on, we'll take this large sum of money and retire. And if that's the case, that's fine for them, but it's a shame to... Now, what's nice is that there have been some competitors for this that sprung up once Oculus started getting some attention. So some other companies, I think, are working on their versions and keeping it, indie dev style.
And there were a ton on for E3 last year. There were a lot of VR companies that came out.
So that might bring some more deserving, if I should say, companies to the forefront on that market. So, well, it'll be interesting to see where that evolves.
It also brings up another issue of, like, you've got these indie guys, and all you have to do is have a giant like Google or Facebook or something that just has a lot of money, or what seems to a lot of money to these indie guys, come and just buy out the whole company. And I mean, a guy like you or I has probably started this company, obviously a lot smarter than me, but has started this company and is just thrown this lump sum of money. How can you not take it? I mean, it's security for the rest of your life with how much money these guys are making.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame them. It's just a shame to see that happen.
Someone was talking about in our chat, there is a new video service that could potentially have some competition against YouTube, but we were saying it's on Yahoo. And he was saying if Amazon had done it, maybe, he doesn't think Yahoo's really going to get any headway.
But all I've seen is the headline that apparently Yahoo has been trying to covet highly popular YouTube content creators, trying to get them to come over to Yahoo and put your videos on a new Yahoo video site that will be starting up.
Yeah, and I mean, if they pay him enough money, that's going to happen.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see. I don't know... I have a hard time seeing Yahoo doing it right, unfortunately. Like, they've just been becoming less and less relevant as time goes on.
Right.
And I just have a very hard time seeing them managing to come up with something that's going to compete against Google, really. I mean, when you think about it, because, I mean, YouTube is part of Google, and it's tough to come up with something that can shut something down on Google.
Where Rex had the valid point of, if Amazon did something like that, again, game changer, because Amazon has the capacity to do something like that. And it's about the stigma, honestly, with these kind of social networking sites. Because for all intents and purposes, YouTube is a social networking site. The stigma of Facebook is Farmville. My mom plays it. My aunt plays it. Everybody who is not cool plays on Facebook. Same with Yahoo for the most part, but I don't know.
Yeah, Amazon would certainly have made more sense. They already are into video on demand type services, so I could have seen Amazon trying to get behind this, but I don't get it with Yahoo.
My thoughts on this are, I'm gonna see what happens, and if it at least seems like a decent service, even if it's much less popular, at least at first, I'm thinking why not upload to both places in case for whatever reason this does take off, because if it's, I feel like this is something we should think about supporting, because we've talked about this before, that for sure YouTube needs a competitor for them to actually start listening to us and say, okay, we need to actually do this better. And
now I saw this was also posted in the Minecraft subreddit a couple days later, and Pyro actually responded to it and said, I don't even have the internet capacity to upload to both sites, which kind of sucks. And I think one of the big issues with that is going to be nobody, especially the big guys, are not going to want to leave their numbers. Like, the number of subscribers to YouTubers is everything, especially those who make their money on it. So let's say Beef right now he has 850,000 subscribers?
Somewhere in that ballpark,
he's not going to want to leave and start over with Yahoo Tube, and where he's going to, he'll start off with 10,000 subscribers the first day, but...
Yeah, that's the thing that I don't quite get either, is that, if you're already popular on YouTube, it's going to be hard to bring your audience over to a completely different site.
Yep.
Especially because, I have this feeling that if you post on YouTube saying, hey, come check me out over on Yahoo's, Google's going to quickly come by, oops, we hit the delete button next to your account by mistake. Don't know how that happened.
You're not allowed on AdSense anymore, but you can still make videos.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I'm keeping an open mind, like Drew said. I think it's important to do that. I just don't understand their opening strategy.
Rob, Old Man Willikers, talks about that he has 2 years of content that's not on YouTube because he was on, I don't even remember what it was, but some other video service, and that was like the popular one. And then YouTube came along, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't gonna go anywhere. I don't want to go over to YouTube. All my stuff is here." And so he just kept on this other site. And then there was a point where I don't remember if the site closed or if it was just YouTube was clearly way more popular.
Yeah, it became irrelevant.
Finally, he switched over to YouTube, but at that point, it was like tons of people were doing what he was doing now, so he probably lost the potential for having like tons more people following him.
And the thing was, he really did too, because you look at a lot of the bigger people on YouTube are bigger because they've been in the game so long.
Yeah.
Somebody like Rob, who's been in it, I mean, as far as I know, he's been in it a lot longer than a lot of other people, has so few subscribers. Well, also because he doesn't do a great job marketing himself, but that's just kind of how he rolls.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, he switched too late, and he's kind of paying the price for it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't know how much you guys watch live streams and stuff, but there have been a lot of problems with Twitch and with like lag, and especially now with Twitch Plays Pokemon, there's a lot of people following
the
that.
Chat delay?
And
it's
so
insane.
I know quite a few streamers. There are some who are like staying loyal to Twitch, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are Twitch partners, but I know quite a few of the smaller guys who are switching over to HitBox TV, which is, I guess they're sort of in beta, but it's another streaming service. And I've watched a couple of streams over there, and there's some stuff that they still need to work on, but it has potential, and it could, if these people switched over now and are starting on there, there's a chance that at some point HitBox will just be better than Twitch if Twitch doesn't fix stuff. And
supposedly, HitBox is just a rebranding of a failed streaming service. I think I heard that on the Minecraft podcast.
I did hear that as well, and so I don't know entirely what's going on with that, but that's just, either way, it's still some competition for Twitch.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's the first I'd heard about that. All right. Well, let's move on to our next news item. Drew, you wanted to talk about PAX again.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention this is the last podcast before PAX.
Ooh,
It's true.
It's like
It's
a
in
week
12
and a half
days.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's crazy, and Slash and I, and also Eric.
not snow.
Not snow. Wah, wah, wah.
Well, but yeah, so our group needs to get together and talk about some details that we have not figured out yet, and it's getting really close, so we need to
Hey,
figure
you need
out.
to learn. I looked this up. You need to learn to be a traveler, not a tourist. Travelers do things spontaneously. That's my self-help section of the podcast.
I just figured, since we're all coming from a couple of hours away from each other, it might help if we were all at the same location ready to leave at the same time.
Dude, you
Yeah,
should have
that
seen
would-
what happened at Minecon.
Yeah.
People had no idea what was going on, and it was great.
And then I wanted to mention, for content-wise, I know Slash and I are both planning on recording and taking a lot of photos and stuff while we're up at PAX. As for the podcast, I think the plan is to record 2 weeks from now, which would be, for us, it'd be the day after PAX. And so we'll have a lot of fresh stories.
Transition. You guys know that song?
Transition.
Yes, perfect.
Transition. Transition. Transition.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're using that too, by the way.
Yeah, so in other convention news, Minecon has been officially announced that it's going to be in Europe next year. Don't know where, but unfortunately for me, I was hoping to go this year, but that probably means I won't be going.
Dang it.
It'll be off the radar for me as well if it's all the way in Europe. It's difficult to. I mean, I couldn't travel down to Florida for the last Minecon. I'm not gonna cross the pond for one if I couldn't.
You could swim the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, there you go. I'll start now.
Right. You might as well. So we did it at the same time.
But yeah, we don't really have any other details, which from what I understand of Minecon is not surprising.
Yeah.
It's like
They'll tell
it's
us a
so
couple
funny
weeks before.
to compare it, with like PAX East. You buy your passes practically while they're still having PAX Prime, or close to it.
Yeah, like 2 weeks after.
It's crazy early.
And then you have all the details. That it's okay. It's in this convention center, and where hotels in that area, et cetera, and you know that, like when the passes come out, you're booking your hotels if you can, if you haven't already pre-booked in anticipation of it, somewhere. And the only thing that you don't really know is the panel schedule. But you know where you're going, you know how long you're going to be there, you know where you're staying, all of that stuff you have in advance for months and months and months. And Minecon, it seems to be like, okay, well, I guess I'm getting my plane ticket for leaving in the morning.
I literally booked a week and a half in advance for Minecon.
Yeah, so I don't know. This is what, the fourth one? Is this the fourth Minecon?
Yes.
I think it's technically the fourth, but the first was, it was Orlando, Paris, Las Vegas, and the first one was, I think, technically online.
Oh, okay.
I think, if I read that right. I
that
read
wouldn't
about
count
it a while
in terms
ago.
of that wouldn't count in terms of organization of it.
Yeah.
It just seems to me that by the fourth one, you should have a better organization than Mojang seems to have for.
No comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say it was unintentionally leaked instead of officially announced.
Aha.
And they didn't know the difference. Hashtag no comment.
Minecon.
Yeah.
All right, so something else I wanted to talk about. Elder Scrolls Online comes out this week. And for the people who pre-ordered, they may potentially be playing already, because people who pre-ordered got, so this is kind of funny. And this is just like the way MMOs work. The people who pre-ordered the digital version get 5 days early access, so they've been playing since Sunday, potentially.
So they're like level 50 by now.
Yeah, especially if you get there early, you're gonna level it.
So, and Munchmo is one of those people, and he's already started his LP on it, which I'm hoping to do an LP for Elder Scrolls Online if my computer can handle it.
Cool.
But so I potentially would have access yesterday, which is Tuesday, because I ordered the physical edition, or the physical copy, which is you get 3 days early access.
Who orders physical copies anymore?
True.
Well, I did this because I ordered it through Target, and so I get a discount.
But
what's funny is with shipping, my physical copy doesn't get here till the 11th.
Oh no!
But
Nicely done.
The way MMOs work, because I get my 3-day early access, I'm downloading the digital version to play it early. And the way MMOs work, seriously, because this happened with Guild Wars 2. I bought the disc, and I put it in, and then I downloaded a 20-gig game. The disc is literally just confirmation that you bought it.
So, on a completely non sequitur kind of thing, I just want to say, darned Connecticut.
Yeah, darn Connecticut. So, Snow Madness officially it's officially kicked off since the last podcast. It was the day after, I guess. And we are down to 4 teams total in the tournament, but 2 contestants, which is crazy.
That was amazing.
How did that happen? Like,
at least they're not fighting each other or like themselves for.
Well, that's the thing.
Because then
they might be for the last one though, depending on how the final 4 goes.
Yeah, that's true.
I would much rather them fight themselves in the semifinals than the championship game. But so if either of the higher seeds, there's a higher seed playing a lower seed in both of the games next weekend. If it gets flipped and one higher seed wins and one lower seed wins, then the same team will be playing itself.
Yeah.
So I need either both higher seeds to win or both lower seeds to win, or else it's going to be a complete fail, basically. Anyway, but the contest was really cool. I think a lot of people got into it, and Slash was recently eliminated, actually yesterday, wasn't it, for us?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Sunday.
It was on Sunday.
I thought you had a good shot.
It was, they were doing pretty good. I had, I guess, 4 teams to start out with, and by the Elite 8, I only had Michigan State left.
Which makes sense, statistically.
But it was funny because I actually had gone in earlier that day. I went into, I have the Google Now thing on because I have an Android phone.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I had gone in, and I was like, oh, I can put in sports teams here. I already had the New York Giants in there for football. I was like, I wonder if they'll have Michigan State in here. So I put in Michigan State, and it was like, yeah, we've got NCAA basketball. So I hit that, and immediately it came up. I didn't realize the game had already started.
Yeah.
There's like 22-21 Connecticut at that point, I think.
It was a good game, man. All of these games have been really good. This is a really good tournament to do this contest for because they've all been really, really close, I feel like.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's come down to O'Brien's 1840 and 15 CT Chris. They're in the finals, possibly facing themselves.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of rooting for that outcome.
God,
That they're playing themselves just because I think it's hilarious.
the probability. See, so what I did was I like separated it. You guys know, but I separated it by the best teams. Everybody gets one of the best teams. Everybody gets one of the second flight, and everybody. So the chances of a second flight team actually making the final game is really low. The chances of somebody having a first and second flight team that both meet each other in the final game is extremely low.
It's pretty insane that that they're going against each other twice.
Yeah.
In the final four, and maybe then again for the championship, or maybe they'll have determined the victor a round early.
God, it's crazy.
It's you couldn't have hoped for a better first Snow Madness, though.
It's definitely interesting, madness for sure.
For me, the best part of the whole competition was when my worst team beat Daughter's best team.
Did you have Dayton or no? Who was it?
I had Harvard.
Harvard, yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
That was a good
yeah.
game. They beat who'd they beat? Do you remember?
no,
I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway,
I can't remember either.
that was a
but
good game.
it was
Harvard
a
is
12
always a
seed
good
that beat
team.
a 5 seed, and it was like a huge upset. And for me, I'm just like, yeah, that's my team.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I definitely encourage this to be a yearly thing on your channel, Snow.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I already mentioned it, but I'm gonna do one for the World Cup too. If the prize
that's good.
allocation goes correctly, if all that goes swimmingly, then we'll do one for the World Cup.
Sweet.
I will definitely enter the World Cup one because I will watch soccer anyway.
Yep.
No,
the World
so
Cup
I'll
is
be even more
probably,
into that than I was.
I like the World Cup more than I like March Madness, but that's probably only because it comes once every 4 years. But
Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome.
very cool.
So guys, for us, today is Monday, March 31st.
That's right.
Tomorrow
Yep.
is Tuesday, April 1st. Do you guys know what that means?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first day of April.
April Fool's Day, guys. Do you have any awesome April Fool's pranks planned?
We
neither.
do, and you will have seen it hopefully by now.
Oh, this is terrifying news.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Yeah,
Oh, this is
I
bad.
was going to say you shouldn't actually say, but I realized that the podcast isn't coming out till after anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, I'm stuck in limbo, guys.
It's
Help
so
me.
confusing. But yeah, Drew and I participated in the April Fool's fun, and if you look at our latest VBFSs, you will.
Will somebody please make stats on how many times everybody on the server has been pranked? Because I swear I have been pranked more than anybody ever.
You know what? Since the map reset, I would say that you have been the victim of the most pranks that I am aware of.
I even pranked myself with that prank I tried to prank. That was the worst prank ever. Anyway, okay. The emphasis of this section is some speculation on what April Fool's is going to bring. Now, you guys know that Mojang has April Fool's, I guess, is it annual? I don't know if it's happened more than once. But last year, they released Minecraft 2.0, which is a ridiculous parody of what Minecraft could possibly and never will be.
Yeah.
Which included pink kissy withers and...
That's right. I forgot about that.
My favorite was the sheep that you fed them golden apples and they floated and then exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Minecraft 2.0 thing, because they did that in collusion with Minecraft.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of, and they did a great job, doing it as an LP and making it a whole thing on all of their channels. But what I find particularly amusing about that is how much stuff ended up being predicted in.
I have to go back and watch it.
Because you have in Minecraft 2.0, one of the things they're like, look, stained glass. Everybody wants stained glass, and now it's in, And then they ended up adding stained glass.
Yep.
They added coal blocks where you could put the coal into blocks.
Oh,
That
really?
was a Minecraft 2.0 thing that eventually made it into the game.
Interesting.
I still want ethos slabs, though. The half slab TNT.
Oh, is that what it was?
That I thought was just a hilarious concept. But like a few things made it in, and then the other thing that was amusing about that was at the time, over a year ago, Seth Bling was not a member of Minecraft. but he was taking over the Minecraft
I
server in their
remember
April
now.
Fool's Day joke.
Oh yeah.
Nostalgia.
He was taking over from Good, and he was like, everybody gets to be in creative mode now
Yeah.
on the server. And since then, Seth Bling has become a Minecracker. So it's pretty hilarious to look back a year ago and be like, this was actually more prophetic than it was funny.
Yeah.
Interesting.
As it turned out. But yeah, I enjoy the stuff that some of these companies come out with. Like, they're all pretty obvious, and some people kind of get over the whole April Fool's thing as a result. But Google has come out with some hilarious ones in the past.
They actually had one today, too.
They did, and it's a real thing that you can actually do.
Yeah.
If you have Google Maps, I don't know if it just works on, well, I guess it does only work on Android because Apple products don't have Google Maps these days, do they?
You can download it, but I don't think the update was for Apple, surprisingly, because Google would never put anything cool on Apple if they can keep from it.
I don't know about it, so why don't you tell me?
I will tell you right now. If you go in the current update for Google Maps on an Android smartphone or tablet, you can go to the search function, and right underneath it, there's a button labeled Start with a little icon of a Pokeball next to it. And when you tap that button, it zooms over somewhere in California to a little icon of like a Pokemon Center, and around it are little 8-bit sprites of Pokemon, and you can tap them and capture them.
And you gotta catch them all.
And it fills out a Pokedex of 150 different Pokemon that you can find apparently throughout the Google Maps application.
I want to play this now.
Yeah, you got all night, man.
Yeah, I wasted a decent amount of time at work today.
I tried it, but then I had 33 updates on my phone, and I thought better not.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The way they marketed it with their YouTube video, it made it seem like you had to actually, it was like a VR thing that you had to go to those particular locations and do like a Pokemon Snap style.
Right. That would be really cool, but
but it turns out that that's apparently not necessary. I don't know, being that I don't live in California, I don't know if you go to those locations physically with GPS on, if Google Maps will do something additional than just the find the icon and tap it and you win.
it could be like a geocache.
Exactly, that sort of concept. So I don't know if they're doing that for people or not, but if you're like the majority of the world and you don't live near Google headquarters,
or near Tokyo Tower, where Pikachu is currently residing.
You could just sort of scroll through the map and tap on the icons and see if you can find them all.
Gotta catch them all.
My favorite from Google, though, in past years on the April Fool's thing was they had a guide on how to do, it was like gesture-based control of Gmail.
Oh, that one was hilarious.
They had a whole list of like different, like, it looked almost like you were being a guy with doing semaphore for aircraft. It's like if you want to reply all, first you do a pirouette and then you hop on your right foot twice.
I like the Google Smell-O-Vision last year too. That one.
Yeah.
Smell-O-Vision was good too. That was
whatever it was called.
My favorite one, I hadn't really followed Internet April Fools until last year when I was really doing YouTube a lot and stuff. My favorite one was definitely Ubisoft came out with an April Fool's video, which was a trailer for Assassin's Creed for Kinect. And it was like you have to do like there's the thing where you're I don't know if you guys have really played Assassin's Creed, but there's synchronization points and they're always really high up in the sky, and it's basically you like load a section of the map that way. But then afterwards you always dive off and land in a haystack, which is a big feature of the game. But it actually shows in the trailer like people like doing flips and stuff, and like they have to like do that to get their character to do that. But
that'd be so cool.
But like in the video, someone like lands on a table and breaks it and stuff like that. But my favorite part is at the end of the trailer. It has like credits or whatever, but then it cuts back and it shows this little girl holding 2 Wiimotes, and then it said coming soon for Wii, and then she pressed a button and it the Wiimotes like extended like the hidden blades, and then it's like definitely not for Wii. Because it's like this little 6-year-old girl, and she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna murder people with my Wii blades.
That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to go watch that.
And for those who are interested, if you've missed out on April Fool's Day jokes on the internet in the past, there's actually April Fool's Day on the web.com.
Oh, what?
Is a website that tracks all of the April Fool's Day jokes various websites have done over the years since 2004.
Wow.
And they're just starting to compile the 2014 stuff right now because some time zones we record are already in April Fools. And I had forgotten about this one entirely. YouTube last year announced that they were shutting the site down because the whole thing was just an idea to collect the best video ever.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was like it
remember
was
that.
a 10-year-long contest or something.
Yeah.
And people I remember people actually buying that. They're like, quick, repost this thing on your channel so that YouTube doesn't shut down.
Man, I wish YouTube would shut down for a day.
Oh, man. Yeah,
That'd
it
solve
was.
some of our problems.
And Imgur, or however you want to pronounce it.
Imager.
Imager.
Imgur.
It's Imager.
Like the GIFs of cats sharing websites.
Gifts.
They had a thing up. I'm just ignoring the heck out of you, Drew.
Yeah. Ignore the heck out of him.
Last year they had introduced a new feature for April Fool's Day where you could upload your pictures via snail mail.
Oh, God. That's funny.
So,
All right.
all right, well, we've reached that time of the podcast. We will now answer viewers or
Questions.
listener submitted questions.
Do I get to read him this time?
You can read them this time, Snow.
Good,
I will
because
sit
that's my
back and I will
designated
listen.
job on the podcast.
It is.
Yeah.
You read the questions and you rapidly and neurotically spell out the email address.
Good adjectives. Okay, I guess those are adverbs. I don't care. Questions. Number 1. This one is from... These both are from longtime questionnaires. Mr. Awesome Guy 246. He says, number 1, number I, letter I. Will people be added to the VBFS anytime soon? / take it away.
Yes, this is pretty standard answer for this, and you'll see it in the descriptions of pretty much everybody whose videos come from the VBFS. Basically, it's a private whitelisted server. If opportunities come up for people to join the VBFS, then once we're made aware, we will make you aware through our VBFS episodes.
And they'll also be announced on the Vintage Beef Fan Server Twitter and Reddit.
Right.
And we'll announce the heck out of it.
Right. And you can find, both of those from our website, vbfanserver.com. It has a link to the Twitter account, which is also VBFanserver, and the subreddit, which is /r/VBFanserver. So it's not too hard to find us on the internet, and I promise you, if an opportunity to join arises, those places will light up with news.
Duly noted. Question number 2. Question letter I. Will there be more guests on the podcast?
Yes.
Never.
And we are actively trying to get entertaining and listenable guests that you guys would really enjoy, and I think we'll be able to land some awesome guests. So stay tuned. I think it's in the works.
For some, I understand why, and I'm not going to mention any names, but we do have some guests in mind that we'd like to get on. But for others, I feel like we shouldn't have to ask, because anyone who listens to the podcast, if they're a friend of ours from the server, they should know that they are welcome. Just message us, say, hey, can I join you guys on the podcast? And so, like we've had nihontiger and daughter. There are tons of other people who are friends and we actually had to go and ask them for, well, I guess, I don't know if we asked daughter, but.
I think we asked.
Okay. But, and so.
Nobody wants to be on our podcast,
they're
guys.
welcome to
We
come
have an
back,
issue.
and any of our friends are welcome anytime to just be like, hey, when are you guys recording? I'd like to be on the podcast.
And the answer is Monday at 8 Eastern.
Yeah, that's pretty much when we record.
Every other Monday.
Yeah,
Bi-weekly.
on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is that, we tend not to think about getting a guest until, the
Saturday
day
night,
before
maybe?
we record. Yeah, and so that's on us. But yes, the short answer is yes, we'll definitely get more guests on the podcast in the future. Hopefully we'll be a little bit better at getting folks on, in the future. But yeah, and like Drew said, if you are a friend of ours and you're interested in being a part of the podcast, just drop us a line and we will, we can work around your schedule too. We don't necessarily always have to record at the same time. Like if you're not available during our normal recording period, then we'll record some other time and, try working out.
Okay, gracias por los preguntas, señor awesome hombre.
Did you
Dos
call
cuatro
her
seis.
pregnant?
Yes, he is pregnant. I've announced it to the world, Mr. Awesome Guy. You are pregnant. Go
Congratulations.
forth and prosper.
It's a toad.
Okay, next question from Un Millón Osos. I think that's how you say monkeys, which it's a million monkeys.
I sure
in
hope so,
English.
because if you're unintentionally swearing, we're in trouble.
Who knows? I unintentionally swear all the time. The question, again, letter I. If you could be one of the other two Dem Guys for one day, who would you pick and why? I'm going to let Drew answer this one first.
Okay. I think I would pick Snowshoe. The main reason why would be, 'cause he lives in a totally different area from me, and I'd get to experience something totally different. Now, the reason why not Slash is because I'd also get to experience something totally different, and that is fatherhood. And I don't think I'm ready to be a father, so...
Well, congratulations, Mr. Awesome Guy's pregnant, and it's your baby.
What?
What? Jerry.
Wow.
The podcast just evolved.
Alright, well, Snow,
That's
now
amazing.
it's your turn. Who would you be?
Who would I be? I quite like children.
That came across really creepy.
Have you ever seen Neverending Story where the dog dragon thing says, I like little boys?
Yeah.
Quote unquote. The most disturbing thing.
It's one of those things you miss as a kid, and then when you watch it as an adult, you're like, wait, did you really just say that?
Exactly. I was like, man. And there's also naked people in that movie, but
Yeah, that's
naked
a weird
statues.
movie.
And
Anyway,
it's never ending.
I think I would have to go with. Oh, this is rough, guys. You're pretty much the same person to me. I think I'll go with Slash because he can't pick himself, and if I don't pick him, then nobody will.
Although if Slash picks you, no one will pick me.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Yeah, now I'm on the spot.
Yep, Slash, you get to answer the question now.
Oh, man.
It's okay, Slash. I'll still be your friend.
I don't believe you. I think I would pick Snowshoe.
Yes, 2 for 2.
Just so that while I was Snowshoe for the day, I could
no.
release videos that say, quick, unsubscribe from me and subscribe to Matt A.K. Slash.
Dang it.
and then once the roles are reversed, I'm on top!
No.
So, yeah.
Revealing that I'm a horrible person because Snowshoe's channel is for charity.
Yes.
So, I will be
Whatever.
honest, for anyone who doesn't know, A Million Monkeys is my brother. And,
Honesty is the best policy.
he asked me about, when he was asking this question, he asked me about, I'm like, I don't want to think about it ahead of time, so don't ask me too much about it. But he brought up some fun stuff like, would you, like what Slash said, like, would you become the other person to mess with them? And, like, he also was wondering if we were gonna bring up, like, cause it says for one day, he was thinking, would it would be up to us to decide if it was a 24-hour period or just from one morning
At sunrise to sunset?
Yeah.
If it was Slash, it'd be however long I could stand it.
Before you just end it all.
Before I switch back, yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I have
I
three little
predict your
cousins.
day would last about an hour.
Hey guys, just remember, for me, except for a few days here and there where you have to work, it's just sitting at home playing video games all day.
And
That's
that's why I
true.
was going to pick you, but then I had to even it out.
That's all right. I understand. You guys can't handle this level of responsibility.
It's very true. That's why we don't have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a very interesting question. So thank you very much for that, A Million Monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
And that
million
concludes our podcast for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed all the crazy April Fool's Day stuff yesterday. I know Drew and I had a lot of fun getting ours together. I can't wait to see the responses to it.
One last announcement. This will be the final episode of the Dem Guys podcast.
Yes, that is correct.
Was that too
Completely
obvious?
Legit announcement. That's
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next time. Or not.
depending on who you believe.
Yes.
All right, bye.
Bye.